and welcome to my channel. I am Andrea and this is Beyond the Pink Door. So today's video is just a little update on how I'm getting on with my new Janome CoverPro 2000 CPX, I think it is. Yeah. So I ordered this last Friday and it arrived by DPD on Monday. Now that was incredible. I ordered it from taiso.co.uk and I'm in Ireland, so I didn't expect to get it so fast, but basically ordered it Friday, it arrived Monday. Unbelievable. So I left it in the box, believe it or not, because a lot of you guys had suggested that I watch or do the Stitch Sisters cover stitch class, which I started on Monday, and honestly, if I hadn't done it, I wouldn't have had a clue what to do with this machine, because basically I've never used one before. I've never actually physically seen one in front of me. I had no idea what to expect, apart from the fact that I really wanted to have one. I'm sewing a lot more jerseys and knit fabrics lately, and I just wanted to up the finished look to look a little bit more professional. So up until now, I've either done a zigzag stitch or I've done a double needle finish. And I'm not happy with either. They both still look, or make the garment look slightly homemade, so I was really hoping I would be able to buy one of these machines. So I have it here. Now what made me choose a Janome? Basically the price. Simple as. I knew I had a budget. I'm not working a lot at the moment, so there's not a lot of disposable money, and I read some reviews. There's good, the bad and the ugly about every machine, and I just thought, right, I'm going to try one of these. It's very, very popular, and I've had Janomes. My daughter's flat stitch machine or domestic sewing machine is Janome, and we've never had a problem. It's always been super. It's like a little tank. So I just thought, well, do you know what? I'm happy enough to go with this one. My first impressions of the cover stitch machine, bearing in mind I've never even seen one before, is that it's a little bit bigger than I thought. I thought it was going to be more the size of an overlocker, but it's more the size of a domestic sewing machine with extra threads. So this one has 4 threads, so you can do a 3-stitch or a 2-stitch on top, and then you have the looper underneath. So at the moment I've been sewing with the three threads. That's very difficult. Just because I don't want to take out a needle yet while I'm still practicing with it. It's incredibly easy to thread, so don't let that worry you. Just because there's 4 spools doesn't make it as difficult as an overlocker. It's really, really easy. The 3 top threads are basically like threading your sewing machine 3 times, and the looper underneath there's only 1 looper, so that makes it really easy. So I would be definitely somebody who threads my overlocker by knotting on and pulling through, but I tried that. It's easier, just pull them out and rethread it. It's really, really quick to thread it on top. I have pulled the looper thread through because I found that easy. It gets stuck here at the first little guy, but it's a matter of pulling it through and bringing it down. And the lovely thing about it is that you can disengage with a little knob here to thread the looper, so it's really, really easy. Now I wouldn't have known any of this if I hadn't watched the Stitch Sisters, because I know an instruction book is great, but there's nothing like, I'm definitely a visual learner. I would much prefer somebody to talk me through it and show me, and then it just seems to go in that bit better. There's loads of different classes in among the Stitch Sisters class, so you can go back and you can re-watch one. So I watched the threading a few times. I'll show a little bit more up close in a minute of the different things that I'm talking about. The other thing I learned in the Stitch Sisters class as well is that the thread at the end has to be knotted out or knotted together, because basically the under looper thread, that's just a single thread, so if that gets pulled, the whole thing will just come apart. So they showed a very simple way of locking it in. Again, I wouldn't have had a clue. It's very easy to work with the tensions. Now, I'm just telling you my experience at the moment. Today is Thursday. I got this Monday. I tried it out yesterday, so this is all I know so far. So if I'm giving any incorrect information, please just put it into the comments, but this is just what I have found out so far. And as well as that, if you've any more hints or tips for me, please share, because only for the comments I wouldn't have known about the Stitch Sisters class, so I'm eternally grateful for that. So here are my 4 threads. You'll notice that I have the looper thread in a different colour, and that's just simply because I want to look at the looper thread at the moment and just see how the whole thing works. So that's just for my own interest. So this is the threading system for the 3 top threads, and as you can see, it's basically like looking at your domestic sewing machine, and then it comes down here into 3 threads. So the Stitch Sisters suggested that you thread it from left, middle to right. So it's basically when you come down here, you have the little guide and you want to have the left one in first, then the middle, and then the right. It's incredibly easy. Hardest thing I ever find is just threading the needle and pulling the thread out the back, but that's just me. And then you have the looper thread, which is my grey one here, and that comes down the same as a domestic. And then you have 3 little looper guides here, but you can bring the 3 together just by moving the hand wheel and then thread the 3 of them. And here is your looper, and you have a little dial here, a little button to pull, and he pops out and you thread it up through and in there and out there. Then when you're finished, pop it back and click. So I have found on the foot that these 3 little grooves here at the front have been so handy. I've just been watching them to guide my fabric through, so I'm basically feeling it as I go when I'm sewing. So here I have a hem of a t-shirt underneath the foot, and I'm sewing on the right side of the fabric so that my 3 lines of straight stitch are on the top. And here's my hem. Now I overlocked this purely by habit, so there's no need obviously to overlock it to cover stitch it. I'm finding these 3 little grooves here very helpful, and I'm lining up, because I have it overlocked as well, it's actually quite you can feel the edge of the fabric, so I'm keeping them in line with these 3 little grooves, and that seems to work for me. So you can notice as well that the 3 needles are in 3 different heights, and this is completely normal. I thought this was a little bit odd when I first saw it, but that's normal. So here we go. I'm going to stitch to the end and then show you how I tie off at the end so it doesn't unravel. Now I have sewn along here because this is my second time to do the video, because on watching the video back I realised I hadn't pressed start. So you'll see my 3 lines of stitching here from my previous attempt. So here we go. Coming close to the same. Also good to point out that I'm doing this with a camera stuck in my face, or my phone stuck in my face, so hope you're able to see this. Now I'm just going over the seam. Now when you come to the end, you use your hand wheel to lift up the needles to their highest position and then pick up the foot. I'm getting used to this foot lever here at the back. There's a little screw at the end, so there's no kind of place to put your finger underneath, so it's just a matter of getting used to. Up it goes. Then you want to put something underneath. I'm just using my scissors. Pull your threads out the front, snip them off, and then pull your fabric out the back, and then that brings your 3 top threads around to the back. So That actually turned out really well. You can see the looper thread there in the grey, and then the 3 lines on top. That's just my observation so far after having worked on it for one day. I realise now that I will have to buy an awful lot more threads to thread it, but I did use it using just some of the little small spools yesterday. I imagine the looper is going to be the one that's going to take an awful lot more thread. So I'm really looking forward to trying out this using more decorative stitches. On the little flap here that pulls out, there's a little guide as well to putting in your threads in different places and inserting it, taking out needles and things. So there's a lot to learn. I would like to, in time, when I get more used to it, because literally I've only used it for a day, I'd like to buy the binder attachment, because that seems to be like a super addition to this machine. Just to mention what I'm wearing today is another Sew Over It Audrey top, which, as you know, I love. Really like this, it's real summery looking. And I used the machine yesterday to sew the 3, I don't know if you can see them there, the 3 layers of stitching there, and on the cuffs. Oh, something to point out as well is that it does have like a little mini free arm. It's not a full free arm. This little thing pops out there. Quite violent. That pops out, and then you have a free arm to pop in your sleeve, or I suppose hems of trousers, jeans, whatever, leggings. Now it's not as free arm as, say, your sewing machine, so it doesn't go right under the needle, it just butts up as far as here, so you do have to push it underneath. But I found that really handy for the end of this sleeve yesterday. God, sorry, I'm going really wobbly with this thing. So yeah, plenty more to learn from this machine. Dead pleased with it so far. I think I am going to get an awful lot more use out of it, and I have to say that I found it much quicker and neater to do the finish on this top yesterday. And yeah, wishing us many more fun sewing days together. So any comments, any hints, tips for me, I would really appreciate it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.